Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to USC 2022. My name is this one guy, and we are getting underway with New York versus Ohio, followed up by SoCal versus Georgia. And I'm going to be joined by Mr. iFlame, so I'm going to set up the stream for him on Discord while he greets you all.
Appreciate that. Hope everyone's having a good day. Like one guy said, we've got some exciting few matches today. Ohio, a little bit unexpectedly, dropping down to the losers bracket last week. Now going to go up against New York, who have been looking pretty strong themselves. Only the second match of the weekend here. Of course, pool going to be the same format as last week. Very interesting having these 4 free mods that I feel like you don't super often see.
Yeah, this is a kind of unique pool size, realistically. Like you said, it's really not every day that... audio. It's really not every day that you get the extra free mod with only 5 no mods. Like, kind of swapping that around, you know, moving a pick from no mod into free mod to kind of avoid, I guess, that modern like excess speed meta thing that a lot of people kind of, well, I don't want to say take issue with, but it's a little hit or miss, I guess. So you put the speed into the free mod, and you give an extra free mod, and then you only have 5 no mods, and you get a nice gimmick no mod 5, and everything else is relatively the same now.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely see it. I do think there's a lot of pools, especially in like these higher star tournaments, where a lot of maps do tend to get pretty speed gated, especially at the higher difficulties, that it just makes a lot of sense to take the speed out of the no mod when you have so much speed everywhere else.
And this pool in particular, you know, I don't know that this, you know, this pool isn't like selected with the idea of that concept in mind, but this pool is super tapping heavy. For people who, you know, maybe watch the showcase or have looked at the maps over the course of the week, there's a lot of tapping in this pool. So players with good left hands are going to be extremely valuable because there's like 10 or 12 different maps in this pool that you can identify as being kind of tapping focused.
Yeah, when we kind of talk about the players on these teams, both of these teams do have kind of strong carry players that they can look to. You expect to do pretty well on these tapping maps. Taquito, obviously very strong on those. Airyu as well. And just both teams that you expect can put up pretty good scores on this pool. You do see the teams here. Kablaze and Topoi, another 2 notable players that have had some really good performances for Ohio so far. And I think on the side of New York, it has largely just been a Taquito as well as the follow-up scores from Flash Show and Hanbei here that were able to put up some pretty good scores in the last round.
Yeah, Taquito was really their like massive carry player. For anybody who watched that match in winners against NorCal, like Taquito was a huge reason why that went all the way to tiebreaker. But Ohio has looked so good on anything involving speed and tapping stuff, like with Topoi on the team this year, who's a really good high BPM player in general, good on the tapping mechanics picks. You know, really brings a lot when you add that into the existing squad with guys like in Wonderland or Taro or Usha. So I like the roster, I think, here for Ohio in this particular matchup. But New York isn't here for no reason, you know, and they're going to find picks that they can feel strong on. Where's my bassoon? Okay.
I would have to agree. I would definitely take the Ohio lineup for this one, but New York, of course, did have some really close matches against the #1 seed in NorCal just last weekend, and largely, of course, off the back of Taquito, but we saw some decent scores out of the other players as well, so hopefully a couple of those players who are not Taquito are going to be able to step up today.
Yeah, and I kind of don't know who to expect it to be is the problem, because if you look at the match last weekend, like, other than Taquito, it falls off kind of hard, kind of quickly if you look at, like, the results and the match costs and stuff. I mean, Taquito had the best match cost of anyone in that match by a pretty fair margin, and then there were 4 members of NorCal in a row in match costs before you get to the next member of New York. He top scored 8 of the 11 maps that they played in that match, played all 11 maps for the team. Like, somebody has to step up, and it's just been a question mark as to who it's going to be. It felt like maybe a little bit of Karyu at the end of that match, but that was on a lot of aim stuff, and there's not a lot of that in this pool.
Absolutely, and you have to keep in mind as well, the players that they need to step up to are the likes of course, Airyu, Kablaze, and Topoi here, so certainly not going to be an easy task. Looks like we finally should be getting into picks and bans.
Yeah, we're going to listen to Koar in the background for the enjoyment of the stream and us as well while we are getting the van phase going. But man, so getting into that, like, this pool is wacky, dude. Like, this Nomad 5 is just something that, why does this exist? You know, DT1 has a lot of speed and streams for a DT1 pick. There's a lot of tapping in DT2 and DT4 as well. Fremod 2, you know, you see Ashes of the Dawn as a CS5 AR8 Fremod. It's like a kick slider and stream map, which is not usually sort of the common thing for CS5 AR8 picks. So there's a lot of kind of oddball stuff going on in this pool that I think is going to be very interesting to see how the players deal with.
There is, for sure, and I wonder if we actually do end up just seeing a Fremod 2 ban here. I mean, you mentioned it being very unusual, along with the fact that Ohio has tended to have very good performances on some of these lower AR, kind of more gimmicky picks, that it might just be a good ban for New York here.
Well, okay. It is going to be New York with the first ban, and they do instantly ban out the Hidden 2, so, I mean, there you go. They don't want to let Ohio have that option very quickly. And it's interesting because Taquito, one of the best Hidden players in tournament play, and he's still instantly banning out a Hidden 2. That goes to show the respect that they have for Ohio at the low AR Hidden stuff.
Yeah, and the problem is, as good as Taquito is on those hidden picks, especially the Hidden 2, I don't think we're at the point in the tournament where the maps are so hard that you can really expect Taquito to be able to solo carry against the likes of this Ohio team.
Yeah, you know, when you've still got, what, I guess, what is it, Kablaze, Usha, is it Airyu is the third for Hidden? Yeah, I guess.
I would say generally,
yeah. Like, that's just scary. But we're going to go over to the first ban from Ohio. I don't actually know what they feel like afraid of this New York team on. I'm curious to see what kind of maps Ohio wants to get rid of, because in general, a lot of the picks in this pool do seem to favor them. Maybe they just ban out, you know, your kind of like Nomad 1 Hard Rock one where it's more a raw aim pick. Just to reduce that kind of variance that can happen in a map like that.
Very possible. I'm thinking there's a chance we see them ban out speed as well. I feel like they don't necessarily have a super speed-suited roster here compared to a lot of these other teams that have incredibly strong speed lineups. Then I also don't know if New York is necessarily a team you're going to be super scared of on speed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think Ohio is actually pretty decent at speed, just like with the additions to their roster this year. I think it's actually a reasonable skill set for them. New York, definitely not a team you're afraid of, though, in speed. That is for sure. And they ban out DT4. That is a lengthy DT pick with a lot of doubles, so New York getting rid of the low AR Hidden and then a tapping focus DT with their second ban. No, we're not playing Koar, client. Thank you. What's last ban Ohio? They went Hidden 3, which is like Hidden Tech. I guess that's just kind of Taquito's skill set if they don't feel like they can match up to him and whoever else.
It seems like it, yeah. Hidden 3s do tend to be kind of the more difficult and less consistency base of those hidden picks, and that's where you can start to see individual players' performances really make a difference.
I wonder if Ohio just double bans Hidden. Like, just ban out Hidden 3 and Hidden 1 or something.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Or if there's a free mod that they're not as comfortable with, but I think Ohio's free mod roster is, like, really good, generally speaking.
It is. They seem to have just like a really good lineup of players. Of course, you can have Kablaze on the hidden. And they just have such good players that are individually good at their specific mods. And so they tend to have really good performances on the free mod picks, like we've seen throughout the tournament so far.
We're gonna see as they take some time here on this last ban, trying to think it through. I feel like I feel like it should just be like one of the ones. I don't know. One of the three ones at the top of there, like Nomad one, Hidden one, Hard Rock one. There he rolls 2, he hits the 1. What's that 1 gonna be? Let's see. What do you think? Is it a 1? Is it an X1?
It might be. There's definitely a chance. The thing about the ones is I feel like
free mod 1.
There you go.
Okay, well, it was a 1. It wasn't one of the ones I was expecting, but it is a 1.
Yeah, and the thing about kind of the 1 maps is I feel like we're at the stage of the tournament where the Nomad ones, the Hard Rock ones, the Higgshu ones are no longer just a free triple FC where it's 1 miss and you're done. These maps are actually getting fairly difficult now, and so you do have to be proficient on these aim maps in order to put up good scores on them.
Well, it's gonna be Ohio first pick, and I'm very curious because I don't know where to expect this to go.
Hard to say. We have seen Ohio pick a lot of free mod, a lot of DT as well throughout the tournament so far, so I wonder if they stick with something like that.
I could see them just like trying to speed abuse a New York team that's really not speed specialists. So you could see like free mod 3, DT1, DT2, maybe even DT3 as possible picks, and they could also go Hard Rock because from what we've seen in the past in the New York matches, if you can go into Hard Rock, you will often remove Taquito from the equation, and that's the best player on New York's team because he's not really a Hard Rock player. He's especially not a 6.5 player typically. So if you're Ohio and you have, you know, a good comfort level on those picks, that is probably not a bad direction to think about going in this match.
Yeah, and I will say for the Hard Rocks, we did see Taquito put up a very impressive Hard Rock score on one of the free mods last week. So it's not that he can't play it at all, right? He's just definitely less comfortable on the mod than the hidden. And so you do still have to have players that can put up good scores on the map because Taquito is still going to be a threat even on a couple of the HR picks here.
Well, it's going to be double time 2 instead. So Ohio going speed. That makes, I think, a lot of sense here against, as we discussed, a New York team that just, for most people, is not scary on speed. So we go straight into double time. We go straight into, God, what is this, 237 BPM, and just raw speed stamina requirement in this DT pick.
Yeah, I don't think you can count New York out of it quite yet, though. These two teams did have very similar scores on the DT2 last week, and so certainly can't count New York out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, at this stage of the tournament, I think everybody, all the remaining teams are going to be strong enough that they'll be, at least, at worst, proficient on the picks, but I think the strength probably is a little higher for Ohio. No Topoi in for this. Is that, I feel like he would normally play this, maybe not?
Yeah, we are going to be getting Flash Zone Hanbei in instead, as well as Wonderland on the side of Ohio.
Wonderland, Usha Kablaze, well, Kablaze has put up some good scores on some of the faster stuff, so, I mean, it's not like she's incapable of playing, but a little surprised by that roster, I guess. Yeah, Taquito, Flash Hanbei. I think Ohio choosing pretty decently with their first map here, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes as we get into our first real map of the weekend. I want to get off to a good fast start here for Ohio, picking a pretty short and fast first map.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hope everybody is warm enough for this speed pick early on here.
Gonna get through the intro mostly pretty comfortably, except for, oddly enough, Taquito. Of all the people to break before we even get into the streams, it's one of the people who's generally speaking the strongest on that team. So that's gonna be 1FC gone for New York. Not the end of the world with it being early, but
Yeah, eyes on Kablaze and Hanbei though as well. Really struggling with accuracy. Maybe not the most comfortable on this pick. And there goes Hanbei.
Hanbei drops, and Flasho notably down at an A rank, despite holding the FC due to the accuracy struggles. So it's Ohio with the accuracy lead, Ohio with the combo lead. 3 FCs still against now only 1 for New York. This is kind of getting to the point of uncomebackable, though that is a break from Kablaze, so it opens the door just a little bit.
New York is going to need another miss, though, and Kablaze did miss a lot later in the map than Hanbei, so potentially going to have a higher score. There goes Hanbei again, and okay, there goes everybody on New York.
That's a 3-way reset for New York, and that's just going to end the map. If it wasn't already over, it certainly is now. Usha and In Wonderland both holding the FCs into the ending, and that's going to be Ohio taking a pretty comfortable first pick. That's going to be over 1 million points, but it's just due to where those misses were that the score just jumps for Ohio. That's a 1.2 million point win on the first pick. I guess they were ready for speed.
I guess so. New York, not so much. 2.8 million, though, is actually a really impressive score.
Yeah, that's a super solid performance.
With that score, you're potentially looking at like a top 2 tournament wide there.
And New York saying, all right, there's 1 hidden left open, and we like playing hidden, so we're going to pick that as our first selection. We go Stellar, which is, again, very tapping, heavy hidden pick, a lot of flow aim requirement in this one. Ohio good at flow aim traditionally, good at tapping traditionally, but we'll see if they're as good at it with hidden on against a team that clearly is very pleased with getting the opportunity to pick this first.
We're going to see Airyu coming in now. I'm a little bit surprised to see Kablaze leaving the lobby for Ohio on the hidden pick, but we are going to be getting Taro instead.
Might still see Kablaze, hard to say, because Opixe is on the wrong side, so we'll see what ends up going on here with Ohio. They are deciding. It's just like Taro +2 against Taquito, Opixe, Hanbei all set. And yeah, I would have expected this to be like Taro, Kablaze,
Airyu maybe?
Maybe Airyu? I don't really know.
Yeah, it's hard to think of a good third after Taro and Kablaze for Ohio.
Maybe just Usha, I guess. Kind of a generally solid fill player. Oh, it is going to be Airyu. Okay, that's fine. Airyu typically does well in hidden picks, so no complaints there.
This is going to be a much bigger test of consistency, so where you miss going to matter, especially in this map.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. We're going from the shortest map in the pool to the by far longest map in the pool back to back. So, as you said, you know, you go from just having the raw mechanics to get through 1 minute and 45 seconds of a high BPM DT pick to having the consistency to get through an almost 5 minute long, you know, hidden, very streamy flow aim type of map. Really changing up the skill set here are New York. I'll have to see if it pays off for them. I don't really know what to expect for sure, but I know you have to expect, at the very least, Taquito to put up a good result on this.
You do, and it does put a lot of pressure on Taquito, because I don't know about these players, but for me personally, on these longer maps, when you see the combos getting high, to even get that 300k score mark, you start to get a lot more nervous than with the small combos on some of these shorter maps.
Yep, the nerves will definitely play a bigger role in a pick like this than on something like that previous DT map. You did see an early break from Opixe, so maybe, you know, it's the method where you intentionally try to reverse choke so you don't have nerfs from FCing near the end. That's one way of looking at that early miss. Accuracy looking
Certainly my
really good for
method.
Ohio. Yeah, you know, we've been seeing that for years. I think Apraxia infamously way back when. Of course, he also had a miss at the very end of maps, so you just never know.
All over the place with Apraxia. I don't think most players do that intentionally, though.
No.
Airyu gonna find a really big miss as well here.
Yeah, those space like burst patterns can really catch you. That increased spacing, Hanbei, like, that's the same thing, right? The accelerating cross-screen stream from that bottom to the top corner, those are like tougher than they might look if they don't look hard to you already. And that's 2 FCs gone, but there's 2 FCs gone for Ohio as well, as Kablaze falls a couple times. And there goes Taro. So there's no combo left on Ohio.
Yeah, and you say 2FC's gone for New York, but oh, there goes Taquito. Actually, really big combo drop. But Opixe, after the first miss early on, has recovered so well, back to effectively an FC here. And Opixe gonna put New York in the lead for now. We do still have over half of the map left to be played, and so it is still anyone's game. Opixe gonna need to find a miss pretty soon, though.
Yeah, there is so little combo here on Taro and on Kablaze. Aryu is, you know, doing what he can to recover the combo, but Ohio's got to build up a decent amount of combo and get one or more misses from New York to work on bringing this score gap back. The accuracy, you know, kind of dropped as well. If you look at Kablaze, down at 96 due to the multiple misses in that last Ki. And then we go back into this next kind of pre-chorus section with a very awkward spacing. Aryu will be the one to miss. That's the wrong person to miss for Ohio.
There goes Hembe as well. It doesn't matter too much.
Opixe matters, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. There is Taquito there, trying to match Taro and Kablaze.
That's
New York should hold on for a little bit, but there's more than enough time for Ohio to make the comeback here.
With this being only 50k score, oh, there's a break from Taro, though. That was kind of crucial for New York to maintain the lead because it was one combo's worth of advantage to Ohio that is no longer present. Kablaze doing what she can to try and bring us back, but it's going to stay at about this 50k margin for the moment until somebody else finds more misses.
And there goes Taro again, and really at this point in the map, only a quarter to go. You're going to really need that miss to be on Taquito. As long as Taquito holds, it's going to be really tough to come back. Opixe did find the miss as well.
But there goes
three-way on Ohio, and yeah, that's going to help out New York just a little bit.
Yeah, that may have just ended the map. I think that's a 700 plus combo on Taquito, a 450 combo on Hanbei, and really no combo at all to speak of on Ohio. I don't know that they have a way back into this pick, unless tragedy strikes New York.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. We'd have to see multiple three-ways out of New York at this point. There's just no combo whatsoever on Ohio now to build it up, and Hanbei drops, but it just doesn't matter now as long as Taquito holds.
We expected a good play out of Taquito with this pick coming in, and that is what he has provided. That's going to be, 550k just right now. It's going to be the highest score in the lobby by 150 or 200,000 points almost, 180. That's a very, very good showing from the hidden specialist. We talked about not all these picks are solo carryable, but when none of your opponents, go over 450k and you're at 600k, that's about as close as you're going to come to that real 1v9 sort of showing.
This is true, but credit to Pixe and Hanbei as well here, who were able to put up 400k scores on their own. It's not like Taquito just 1v3 the lobby or anything, but he had the supporting combo there from his teammates, and that is what you need in these later stages.
Yeah, that was Taquito and Opixe both getting a better score than anyone on Ohio, and were it not for Kablaze getting 430k, it would have been all three members of New York outscoring all three members of Ohio. So definitely a good first pick, and I feel that pick is kind of hard, as it turns out. 1 point, we dropped down from 2.8 million as the higher score on the previous pick to 1.4 million as the higher score on that one. Perhaps.
Yeah, and it could show a little bit of difference in the player skill sets as well. I think flow aim is not a super commonly strong skill set in tournaments.
Yeah, hidden flow aim, with like a few exceptions, is traditionally speaking typically quite difficult, unless your name is, I don't know, Taquito, or actually Xarc is usually really good at hidden flow aim, but
it's whereas speed. Yeah, whereas speed is more kind of, you either play it or you can't play it. There's not really a ton of in between there.
And now, will Ohio just go speed mode and go DT1 or DT3? Maybe even no mod 2? Maybe even free mod 3? I feel that with how well their first pick went, they got to be thinking about staying within the same skill set.
Yeah, I don't think it makes a ton of sense to look anywhere else based off how decisive that first point was, as well as just previous tournament performances.
Let's see. Okay, I guess not. They're completely changing it up. They're going Nomad 3. All right. I don't know. Prove us all wrong, I suppose.
I guess so, yeah. Not going to opt for speed of any sort, but instead are going to be going for the alt map of the pool.
And this one is, you know, by and large, a fairly traditional alt map until you get to some of those very quick burst patterns near the end. I mean, it's 280 BPM, and there actually are 280 BPM bursts in this map, so you do run into a little bit of speed gate on literally 2 patterns near the very end of the map, but otherwise, just a very consistently difficult Nomad 3, kind of in a pretty modern style.
Yeah, and the only thing I can think of is that Ohio must feel pretty good on this Nomad 3 in particular. I don't feel like it's something like we've really seen them pick much throughout this tournament so far. And Taquito, honestly, is kind of a player you'd expect to be pretty good on these alt picks, generally speaking.
Yeah, I feel it's difficult for Ohio to try to pick something that Taquito won't do well on, so you're not. I think you're probably not so worried about what he does because you know he's probably going to put up a good score, and you're just more worried about like ensuring that you have a good pick for your own team.
Yeah, and I did confirm neither of these teams has played a Nomad 3 so far in this tournament, excluding qualifiers, of course.
No, there are no qualifiers. So they just haven't.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, they just straight up haven't. Oh my god. All right, well, you just got no basis for this then.
That's why I was so surprised by the pick here.
Yeah.
There's just so little information on both of these teams, and so they have to feel especially good about this one.
Taro could blaze. I mean, hey, if it's a good 3-man roster for a Nomad 3, then more power to him. Let's go Pixie Hanbei.
I do think Ryu as well has been one of these players that has consistently put up some very impressive alt performances. But we'll have to see how this one goes. Pretty long map as well, and everybody should be holding on early on. But
Yeah,
see how things...
There are very few short picks in this pool, so there's a lot of consistency requirement over the course of a match played on it. Going to be super highly valuing players who don't get affected by nerves and who are able to have a really high level of consistency over the course of a pick, which I guess is not Hanbei, as he becomes the first to break on this particular one just about a quarter of the way through. But Blaze follows it up right after, so it's 1 FC gone for each team in the early stages.
Accuracy gonna be pretty even as well. Ohio gonna fall a little bit behind, but not so much so that it's gonna make a massive score difference. But the accuracy is gonna start to matter more and more as this map goes on, as it tends to with these longer picks. So this map is pretty tough, though. I certainly don't expect the combos to stay this even, especially with the next chorus coming up here.
Yeah, you know, you get these kind of mix of patterns in this map, you know, where some Nomad 3s are like all snap aim, some Nomad 3s are all flow aim, and this has kind of both. And again, it's going to be a miss from Taquito this time for New York. Kablaze matches, but that's actually, you know, still going to be worse off for New York. It's double FC still intact on Ryu and Taro. Hanbei recovering, but the lead's going to finally go over to Ohio. The accuracy kind of catches up to, or the combo catches up to the accuracy at long last.
Yeah, and Ohio has actually recovered accuracy pretty nicely. Kablaze is back up to 98 from that 96 earlier, and accuracy is honestly more or less even at this point because there's not a huge score difference between 98 and 99 with score V2. And man, New York desperately needs a combo break now, over halfway through the map, and Ryu looks so good.
That's a shame for Taquito. That was a slider break with the highest accuracy in the lobby. But Opixie and Hanbei now got to try to pick up the slack and hope for either Ryu or Taro to miss somewhere in this last third of the map. The lead's still not very big. It's only 50,000 points, so anything can happen. You get into those couple of bursts. Oh, it's a miss aim from Taro. That was just a pure under aim on that pattern, and that's huge because New York now has the combo advantage by a decent margin.
Especially with Hanbei and Taquito both recovering here, they're going to take this back so quickly.
And
Ryu goes as well. That's massive.
I don't know if Ohio can win this now unless New York full resets pretty much immediately. They're going to take such a big lead with no combo on the Ohio side. And there goes Taro on one of those big bursts.
Yeah,
don't think
New
this is
York's,
recoverable.
Yeah, New York swung the door wide open on this map, and I think this one's probably just over. There's no combo. Kablaze drops as well. Okay, three-way from New York.
It just doesn't matter.
No, I think it's just over anyways. There's no combo in Ohio left to come back with here.
We do a little bit of diff spike picking. We pick diff spikes here and there, guys. Airyu has some decent combo in this ending, but it's just not going to be enough to bring back 200k all by his lonesome. And there he misses as well. So it's going to be an early break point for Team New York as the underdogs in this matchup, and they take the early 2-1 breakpoint lead. They have their own pick, and it's instant. Nobody can see it yet, I don't think, but Taquito has already sent in LBR4 as the pick. The map hadn't even finished on stream yet, and he already had that ready to go.
Yeah, I can't even see the pick yet.
Yeah,
so.
I saw it in like the bottom of the tourney client. Nobody could even see it, but there it is, the fastest LBR4 pick I have ever seen.
And this map is such a banger, and I just want to highlight before this match, we talked about those other players for New York that are not Taquito stepping up, and so far they've done such a good job, and it was actually Opixe who stepped up and really put in a good score for New York on this one, and that has to be such a big mental load off of Taquito to have his teammates performing here today.
Yeah, I mean, Opixe with this almost 750k score on that Nomad 3, despite Airyu and Taro both, getting 650 and 600k respectively, that 750k was enough to carry. And like you said, if you're Taquito, it feels really nice to know that your team is performing today, because it means you don't have to be at 110% on every single pick, or you just instantly lose. Like, there's still opportunities for New York, even if he, only quote unquote gets 600k on a pick or so. Yeah,
and 600k is certainly not a bad score. I think that is still better than anyone in Ohio, if I remember correctly.
They had 652k, 602k versus Taquito 567k, so he was right in there.
Okay.
A little behind, but mostly right in there. And this is like the Taquito skill set. I mean, he's super well known for playing tech picks. This map is not incredibly hard, but it is pretty difficult. So if you're not comfortable with the style of, kind of a tapping focused tech map rather than a slider tech map, then you might struggle with this. But I think both these teams are going to have rosters. Taquito, Opixe, Hanbei. That's just the three, I guess, for New York, huh? Against Kablaze, Usha, and Airyu.
Seems to be for now. We'll see how long they stick with this roster. But into the Nomad 4 now, another one of these shorter picks.
Opixe? My dude? He just under-aimed on a double in the intro. Not what you want to see, but so early on that it won't affect the score very much.
No, it shouldn't. And I think you're a few seconds ahead here.
I don't know how. I'm literally streaming to Discord for you.
I know. Even on Discord, you're a few seconds ahead.
That's so sad. Anyway, it's Airyu with the next break. So that is going to give the advantage to New York as Airyu breaks once again already. 2 misses down to 96 AC. Hanbei and Usha, though, follow up with a trade.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's now just going to be Kablaze trying to take on Taquito and Opixe for now. Everybody else has lost the combo. Are about to get into a fairly tough section after this slow part, though, so watch out for any more misses. You really can't be missing on the slow section on these maps.
Boy, look at that accuracy on Taquito and Kablaze. 99.8, 99.6. Both very experienced tournament tech players. We'll see if they can hold that into the ending, and the answer is no.
Taquito drop. So does Hanbei. Ohio going to be taking the lead now. Opixe needs to hold, though.
Boy,
and Opixe does going to be keeping this one at least close, but Ohio should be bringing the score back as long as Kablaze or Airyu don't miss. And there goes Opixe. That's such a massive drop.
Yeah, that, I think, just ended this pick as well. Like, they're just ending, like, in a very obvious manner. Opixe and Taquito both break, while Kablaze and Airyu both hold. Airyu, Usha, find a couple misses, but Kablaze still on the FC is more than enough to keep this lead intact for Ohio.
And New York going to be missing out on a really good opportunity to get some momentum on this match. They are going to trade the breakpoint back immediately after getting their own. And yeah. Kablaze looking good on that one.
Yeah, that was... Is that the first FC of... since, what, the first pick? Yeah, the first... Like, the last 2 maps. We had no FCs. And then we get to Kablaze, just chilling with the Nomad 4 FC. So very well done to her. Not what New York wanted. Man, for how quick they were at getting that pick in, it would have been fine if Kablaze didn't FC. It would have been super competitive, but when you don't have a score above 640k and the other team has a 974k FC, you know, that makes it look a little more one-sided.
It does, but you can't even fault New York for that quick pick. I mean, they've gotten top 3 on the Nomad 4 in both previous rounds, so honestly, by all expectations, they should have been favored on this pick, but it ends up being Kablaze that pulls out the FC, and no one on New York was able to hold through that map. Ohio, now with the pick, and we did see them go for a switch up to Nomad 3, but obviously they do still have all the DT picks and the free mod options still open.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say all of them, but a good amount.
You know, DT1, DT3, and free mods 1 or 2 through 4. I think you go another speed map though. They were so definitive on the DT2. I think you pick something fast. Like it's either DT1 or free mod 3. I've got to imagine here from how one-sided DT2 was. Like you've got to expect them to go back to a speedy map. And it is going to be DT1. So it's the Dada map. Dada makes a custom map, puts it in his own pool. Volume, I'm not sure what. It's happened a bunch. It's happening again. And this is super streamy for a DT1. Like, there's a lot of tapping in this pick. 227 BPM, bunch of bursts. Very difficult ending diff spike. Not perhaps as much aim as you would expect to see in a DT1, but there is some aim in it. I think I like this pick, just in terms of skill sets of the two teams.
I think so as well. We are going to be seeing Wonderland and Topoi in for this one, making a lot of sense. And we're actually going to be seeing Karyu in for the first time this match. Flash out, no surprises there. Does tend to be their DT player for New York along with Takedo. Oh, maybe we're getting Hanbei instead. Yeah, and I feel like New York's roster for these DT or speed picks tends to just be Takedo, Flasho, and whoever else feels comfortable on the map.
Yep, that, you know, and you're gonna see and have been seeing, it's, you know, it's Takedo plus people for everything. And I think Hanbei has been in for all 4 picks to this point, so it's gonna be 5 out of 5 if he stays in the lobby here. Clearly somebody who's comfortable in this pool compared to maybe some of the other teammates.
I would be pretty surprised here to not see Flash in for this one. He has been a bit of a constant for New York on these DT picks so far.
Yeah, he top scored DT2. He's got to be in for this as well. And in Wonderland, Taro and Topoi as the trio on the Ohio side. We'll get to see Topoi. And in we go. Deadlocked, 2 apiece. Somebody's saying abort. I don't know why.
No, there should not be any need for an abort.
Right.
I don't
well,
think.
We're doing it anyway. I don't actually know what this abort is for. Nobody said anything.
Okay.
And as I can tell, everybody's connected as well. But
Seems to be. Maybe some hardware issues.
yeah, I'm not really sure. He just said, oh, he couldn't alt-tab to close stream. I'm not really sure what that means, but okay.
I think he was listening to the stream in the background and just wasn't able to alt-tab out of Osu to close the stream before the map started.
Sounds like a skill issue. Well, they did just change alt-tabbing behavior in Osu again. Like, they changed it a few months ago, and then they changed, or not even, like, less than that. And then they changed it back to the old behavior, so I don't know, whatever. It's fine, because we're starting the map, and Flasho is going to actually be the first to break, so maybe he should have just left the stream open. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. Just to get commentator first live on stream, but everybody else is going to hold, and it's an early enough miss that it shouldn't make too much difference as long as Flasho can recover it, and especially still with that 99% accuracy. Bit of an unlucky miss there.
Well, he just SS'd until, well, he missed, he 100 in the last note of that stream. So yeah, the accuracy staying very high. Taro is going to be the first to break for Ohio, so lead to New York. That accuracy, oh, Flasho. Flasho's getting speed player syndromed, where you just SS all the streams and then randomly miss on aim.
Pretty much, but it's going to be enough to keep New York in the lead for now because of how strong the accuracy is. Taro is just really struggling here, down at 92, 93 accuracy. It's going to hurt Ohio so much, and really we're going to need a miss out of Takedo or Hanbei if Ohio wants any hope here.
And such misses are not forthcoming as of yet, but it's a match double FC in Wonderland Topoi holding pretty high AC FCs, definitely comparable to Hanbei and Takedo. So you kind of have this 2v2 and then the backing 1v1 between Flasho and Taro, but Flasho's AC is really carrying him as well as carrying New York. It's Takedo, by the way.
Takedo's AC as well, though. Yeah, 99.76. I think that's a 2x100. Maybe 3.
Oh, rip. It just dropped a bunch of hundreds on that stream. Did keep the combo, though, which is really what matters. And there goes Topoi. Yeah. Oh, that's such a huge break.
Yeah, disaster strikes for Ohio with that last miss. Takedo still going to have the highest accuracy in the lobby, and it's going to be another point for New York, and that's okay. Lots of misses at the end, but yeah, regardless, that's going to be a third break point in a row now. New York with the pick.
Yeah,
and this match is kind of getting flipped on its head.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody's going to know what to pick anymore now that we've had 3 straight break points. Like, clearly the things that we think they're going to do well on, they're just not doing well on. You know, minus that late break from Topoi, that would have been like super, super close. But Takedo 99.27 FC also didn't even drop any slider ends or anything with that weird slider stream. Same for In Wonderland. Both did very well on that pick. But that
there you go. Now New York can just go for the free mod 3 pick. Keep the breakpoints going.
Yeah, I don't even know like what. You know, you if you're Ohio, you know, you win a speed pick, you pick something that isn't speed, get broken on it. You pick something that is speed, get break pointed on it. You know, New York insta picks tech and gets break pointed on it. Like, I don't know what you even plan.
And I do feel like when there are so many break points, honestly, you just have to stick with your picks, be confident on them, and don't let it get in your head too much.
Let's see. I mean, are we gonna see any hard rocks? If so, I don't know if it's gonna be New York. We do have like free mod 4. New York had a pretty good score if memory serves on last week's free mod 4. I think that was the one that Takedo had the hard rock play on. The Subahibi creepypasta song. Oh, it's just no mod 1. All right, the ultimate coin flip map, except it's tapping heavy this week.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's always this sense, you know, with No Mod 1, because everybody can, or not everybody, pretty much everybody can play aim. So No Mod 1 just permanently feels like a coin flip.
Yeah, and the skill set is there. It does just come down to what feels like RNG so often, and that is why it is frequently called a coin flip map. But you do have to look out for your players like Takedo, like maybe Kablaze on this map.
Karyu, by the way, insane aim player. I do think this is a reasonable pick for New York. I mean, there was a reason I mentioned it at the very beginning as something that Ohio might think about banning out, because New York has some really good aim players. Not that Ohio doesn't, but it's a little bit more of a specialty for the New York players than it is for the Ohio players. I think either way you're going to get a 3-man squad that can do well on it, but I think it does lean maybe just a bit more toward New York. The only downside being that as far as 7-star No Mod 1s go, this one it leans a lot on the streams and bursts rather than on the raw aim requirement.
Yeah, and this is going to be another one of those picks that neither of these teams have played, so going in with just not a lot of info here. And honestly, I would probably give New York the slight edge going into this one. You see Ryu coming in as that last member for Ohio here, looking to take back their breakpoint.
It would be 4 straight. Oh my goodness. This is just so back and forth.
Wouldn't be the most I've seen, but certainly a lot.
I don't know what the highest number of breakpoints in a row I've ever seen was, but it's a big number. But...
It is, yeah. I think I once commentated a match that was something like best of 11, and I think every map except for 2 were breakpoints.
think I've probably seen something along those lines as well. But we'll see if that ends up being the case here with New York feeling like they are in a pretty decent place picking this. Many a stream will be forthcoming, but there is plenty of aim as well as we get towards the key eyes. No
now
misses.
Place your bets. How long do you think we see the last SS hold on for?
Boy, it could be a while. This is such a comfy BPM and AR and style for a lot of these players. Well, Taro's going to break one of them with a miss. So Taquito hits 100, and there they go, all of them. All right, I guess that was that. It was 400 combo.
Pretty much, yeah. And yeah, miss is going to be about the last thing you want to break your SS with. Did drop a lot of accuracy otherwise as well, so New York going to be taking a very slight accuracy advantage here with Taquito.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to be just that case of everybody comboing in between the diff spikes and just finding out which team suffers fewer misses in the hard parts, like, or it could just be Karyu breaking on air. I guess that's the other alternative, and that's combo advantage to Ohio.
Yeah, Karyu, or New York at least, is desperately going to need to hold on through this second chorus now, because this is really the worst place in the entire map you can find a miss on.
We're looking at Taro as that earlier miss. Aryu and Kablaze looking strong, but Kablaze gonna fall on the kick slider jumps. And that gives the advantage right back over to New York. Into the bridge.
Yeah, and Taquito and Apixe both hold on here, and this kind of free combo section is going to give them a chance to really push this score lead.
Yeah, but the nerves, man. 11 to 1200 to combo in. They're going to start hitting. And there go Kablaze and Apixe. That is worse for New York.
Yeah, but New York has been putting in the work with these combos. Apixe has already gotten the score advantage over Kablaze. As long as Taquito can hold through this jump section, oh, New York is going to be good, and Taro finds a miss. It's just Aryu versus Taquito now, but it's Karyu with the backing combo, and New York is looking pretty good for this one, but they do still have Aryu to worry about. Cannot let their guard down yet.
Oh no! Taquito on the slower section.
I think there's time here.
Aryu can bring this back. It's only a 60k lead. If Aryu FCs, or even if he just holds through most of this last Ki, there's no combo anywhere else. It's Aryu with a more like a 700 combo advantage over Karyu. I think that's an... Oh, there he goes. It would have been enough, but he misses on the little slider stream burst. And now there's no combo anywhere.
As well, but yeah, there's sadly just no combo, and Aryu had so much score to be gained, was only at 750k holding the 99. But sadly, can't hold on through that last section, and it is going to be another point for New York.
That's so huge to be able to consolidate a break point. They'll take a 4-2 lead. And they just need to win 2 more picks of their own now. That puts them in a pretty decent spot going forward. Granted, you know, winning one's own picks has not been easy in this match so far, but it is still on the table.
Yeah, but it's going to feel so good to be solidly up a breakpoint here, and Ohio going to need to go for one of their stronger picks, try and get some momentum back here. Maybe just like the Fremont 3 like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I think this has to be Fremont 3. And would you look at that? It's Fremont 3.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't really know what else they would have picked here, in all honesty, because they just need something that is like, hey guys, we tap fast. So we get some ASMR here.
Good. My favorite thing to have in my OSU maps.
Yeah, Sam. So this is our typical free mod 3, where it is very speedy, plenty of streams and bursts, 220 BPM, also very, very long, 4.5 minutes. This is another one of these super long picks in this pool. So it's gonna drain your stamina.
Yeah, and it is gonna be a little bit lower BPM than the DT2, so not quite as much speed requirement, but they are gonna have a little bit longer streams as a bit of a trade-off here.
Yeah, and
I do. I do expect we're just going to see the same rosters that we usually see.
Yeah, it's like Takedo, Hanbei, Flasho, Topoi, Kablazen, and Wonderland. So it's Kablaze. Kablaze has been in for the free mod 3s.
Yeah,
on
but
hidden, traditionally.
Yeah, I will say though, Kablaze did not look super comfortable on the last speed pick in this round, so see how she feels on this one. And it looks like we are going to be getting Flasho on the Hard Rock. Takedo finally off the Hard Rock.
That was the weirdest thing, so now we're back to status quo.
And I think the mods otherwise completely expected from both teams here.
Yeah, I think these are pretty much what you would expect for both of these teams most of the time on a free mod map. But Aizen Kablaze has not been having maybe the greatest night, did just drop the bottom score on that No Mod 1, but Flasho with the early miss has struggled a bit with aim on these speedier picks, commented on that in the lobby in between these maps, so, you know, gonna probably be fine on the actual bursts and streams, but maybe we'll have a little more trouble on the aim like that early miss would seem to indicate.
Yeah, and there is a fair bit of aim in this map compared to that last DT2 pick.
And Flasho's struggling for it.
Yeah, second miss out of Flashstone. It's just going to be an early lead for Ohio. All looking very, very comfortable on this pick so far. Kablaze seems to be having no problems, clearly, with the 220 BPM, but it is going to be Flasho with another miss.
Oh, man, he is straight up not having a good time.
Yeah, you have to stop chain missing here.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well... I've lost track of how many times he's missed so far. Unfortunately, this aim is just not working out for him at all. And what, you know, to make matters worse, you still have no FCs broken for Ohio. You're all over 99.5 AC until Kablaze drops some hundreds on that stream. Takedo's still holding the hidden SS, like, and yet it's a 70k lead for Ohio just because of Flasho, and we're only a quarter of the way into a very long pick.
And the problem is now, even if you get a miss on Ohio, whoever misses is still going to be so far ahead of Flasho in terms of score. Flasho dropping hundreds on that first even is really just not having a good time with this Hard Rock.
And there's another, he misses on the flow. This is really unfortunate to see, as it's still a three-way for Ohio. They're up 150k off of 3-2 FCs. That's how big that score gap is back to Flasho.
Yeah, and it just seems to be really hard third player syndrome for New York.
Now, if you're going to take anything away from this, oh, okay, there goes Takedo. Well, we're only halfway through, but I think the map's over. If you're going to take anything away from this, if you're New York, it is that this is an Ohio pick, and it's an Ohio pick that was probably expected to go their way.
Very much so. I don't think New York ever really expected to win this one. But 3 FCs from Ohio so far, still very impressive. Are we looking at a potential 2.8 million score? We will have to see if all their players can hold on. We do still have a lot of map left to go. And I don't think there's really any world where Hanbei solo carries this, but New York can dream.
Yeah, I mean, even a 99.3 AC FC Nomad is just not going to do anything against a team that has 3 FCs with the Nomad on that side being higher AC than yours. It's a bit of a shame. And there goes some Flasho recovered combo. It's, well, this has just been a one-way ticket, it would seem, on this map.
Yeah, and I think now with a 500,000 score difference, the, well, score lead is officially out of reach, even if Hanbei FC's and Ohio chain misses the rest of the map.
Yeah, there's really no coming back from this one. So, you know, you're New York, it's just like, okay, what's our next map? You know, forget about the last pick, doesn't matter. Wasn't our pick, worked out better for them, moving on. You know, you have to maintain the mental on this no matter what. Hopefully Flasho doesn't get too negatively affected by this outcome. As it's tough to look at the other team and see them three-weighing, but you have to remember that they are a team that is really good at speed and very good at free mod with a super dedicated free mod roster. So you have to be just amazed as a viewer by what Ohio is doing on this map, and if you're New York, you just have to completely ignore it.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we might just be looking at 3 million from Ohio here, which is ridiculous. No, we're going to see Wonderland drop.
Well, Not going to affect the score, the outcome. There's a big chain miss from Kablaze. Bit of a shame there. Still going to finish over 900K. It's still going to be a 2.8 million score from Ohio with Topoi FC on Hard Rock with, what, 97.5? Yeah, that's not too shabby. That's a really good score from Ohio. I don't know, 2.8, nearly 2.8 million. All, you know, barring the chain miss on the last stream, would have been a double FC. And it was all Ohio all the time. Hanbig, you know, it just that score doesn't even end up mattering. It's a 99.37 AC FC Nomad, and it's just irrelevant.
Pretty much, and that is one of those scores for Ohio where you'd expect that to beat just about any team in the tournament, more or less. So New York can't feel too bad about that one. Do have the next pick now. Wonder if we just see them go for another one of the ones, but I don't think Hard Rock 1 is going to be a very good pick for them, and obviously all the other ones already picked here, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But then what do you go for if you're New York? It's kind of tough.
Maybe D. How do you feel about DT3? No.
There's a chance, but that feels so risky against Ohio.
I don't even want to speak this into the universe because somebody somewhere is listening, but there's a world where Nomad 5 is actually a reasonable pick here for New York. I hate it so much I want to cry, but it's actually not a bad pick in this circumstance, all things considered.
Do we ever see a Nomad 2?
From New York? I don't think so. I don't think so in this matchup. I mean, if you pick Nomad 2 here, you just have to be like knowing that you're going to get a couple of FCs, but it's going to be Hard Rock 3 instead. So we're going the... Okay, so Ohio picked Nomad 3, and New York got a breakpoint on it. So New York is saying, all right, there's another alt map in this pool. It's just in the Hard Rock pool. So we're going to run it back and pick another alt map. Even though it's Hard Rock, it doesn't really matter because it's still alt, and it's still something we feel comfortable with. It's also big circles. It's only 4.94 is the CS, despite having Hard Rock on.
It is, but if I'm remembering correctly, this one is going to be a lot more aim-intensive than the last alt pick, so it does make a lot of sense to see Karyu coming in here.
Let me double check here. I have to scroll back up in this MP here a little ways. Who was in on the Nomad 3 course? Opixe Hanbei Takedo. It looks like it's going to be Opixe Karyu Takedo this time. Against, it was Aryu Taro Kablaze before. Topoi, being a good Hard Rock player, I'm guessing will be in for this, and it's going to be like Topoi Aryu Taro instead of Kablaze Aryu Taro, because Kablaze doesn't really play Hard Rock.
Yeah, I'd imagine once we see Karyu switch teams, you are just going to see a Topoi slot into that last slot. I don't think we see Usha on this one. There we go.
So, one player swap per team on the Nomad 3 to Hard Rock 3 transition over the last few maps. New York kind of got away with murder as well as they performed on that last Nomad 3. It was really helped out by Ohio struggling on those bursts near the end. So we'll see if they can catch lightning in a bottle twice and continue to hold on to this breakpoint advantage. It's only 4-3, so if Ohio gets the breakpoint back here, it's one pick left per team, and it's a really scary situation for both sides. Whereas, you know, if you're New York, you really want to win this. You want to give yourself 2 match points.
Yeah, it's going to be such a key point, and we talk about Topoi, and Topoi was actually the only one to FC the last map on Hard Rock.
Yeah, he's been, I think, feeling pretty good. This one a little more aim-heavy, of course, than a lot of other picks that Topoi will generally be in for, but a very comfortable Hard Rock player, so it should not bother him too much. Also, gonna throw in that this is, like, the best song in the pool, so that gives the buff to all the players who are into Streetlight Manifesto. Into the first chorus, into this Ki we go, and it's Taro with the instant slider break.
Yeah, we are going to see Aryu single tap in this one.
Oh, Takedo falls too!
Oh, that's such a big miss. I feel like Takedo is that strong presence on New York that you really need, but going to find an early miss, and not super comfortable on the HRs. You do still have a Pixie and Karyu holding, so it is going to be 2 FCs to 2 still. And everything going to be pretty even after both misses.
those combos starting to build up. We're getting toward the halfway mark. This is not very long. It's a cut version of the song. It takes about a minute off of the total length, but you know what happens when you miss anywhere around this middle portion. It's Taro with the second break that's going to give New York that advantage back, and Topoi follows it up. That is huge. New York now has 2 FCs to only the FC of Airyu, and Takedo with a recovered 330-plus combo. It's only a 30,000 point lead, but it's going to grow fast.
Yeah, but Airyu is still there, and the ending of this map is without a doubt the hardest part by quite a bit, in my opinion. This ending can be really brutal, and so all the players of New York need to hold on here. They really can only afford to drop one of these big combos before Airyu starts to bring this back.
Well, the problem is, at this rate, no matter what Airyu does, it's not going to matter. Taro and Topoi are both so far behind at this point that Opixe and Karyu are just kind of cruising into the ending.
And even Takedo has recovered now. Accuracy advantage not going to be nearly enough for Ohio, and it looks like New York is just going to be taking another point. Going up 5-3 here. And Airyu finding the miss to close it out, and we are now on match point.
Wow. And, you know, New York just saying, at the double FC, by the way, New York just saying we got an earlier alt map win, let's get another one, and doing precisely that. That is a very impressive team score. 2 FCs and a 1 miss 700K. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that are going to be able to challenge that kind of performance. And now they've got 2 match points, 1 on Ohio's pick, and if they need it, 1 on their own as well, plus the tiebreaker. So this is putting Ohio under about as much pressure as you can imagine.
Does it feel like Ohio still does have a lot of potentially good picks for them, though? They do still have those free mods available, as well as the DT3 that's potentially an option for them. Even Nomad 2, I feel like, should be Ohio favored. And so, despite being down 5-3, it does feel like Ohio certainly has more picks left here than New York. So this match really is still a toss-up.
This is Ohio's last pick, no matter what happens. So there's a lot of pressure to, of those maps that you listed off that are good for them, there's a lot of pressure to find the right one. And that can be easier said than done when you're in this situation, and they're just going to go back to their roots. They're going to say, we've felt good on DT, we've felt good on speed, we're going to go back to DT3 and see what you guys can try to challenge us on a 291 BPM pick after what we just did to you on Free Mod 3, winning it by almost 1,000,000 points.
Yeah, Caramel Heaven is going to be a lot more aim focused though than the Free Mod 3. Going to be a little bit less speed too, despite the BPM. Fortunately, we cannot have 290 BPM speed.
That'll be like 2024. That'll be Nomad 5
Something
in 2024.
like that, yeah.
It'll just be 290 BPM Deathstream maps.
I look forward to it. Ohio potentially upsetting a lot of pick'ems over the last 2 weeks. Just in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, the loss to Iowa, I can't imagine there were very many people that had Iowa picked in that one. And if they end up losing this to New York, that would probably also be pretty iffy percentage-wise for people picking New York over Ohio in this matchup. But we'll see what happens. It's in Wonderland Airyu and Topoi against Flasho, Hanbei, and Takedo. We saw how hard Flasho struggled on the aim portions of the previous free mod pick that Ohio ran up the score on. So he is going to be one to look out for to see if he can get a little more comfortable as New York tries to maybe close this out in a break point.
Yeah, and Ohio going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to fend off New York here. Wonderland, you're going to find an early miss, not the start you need, but realistically isn't going to matter too much as long as Wonderland can recover. Flasho struggling again. We're going to see a much better performance from Flasho than on the Free Mod 3. And there goes Flasho again.
Boy.
It's just not Flasho's day.
You know, I mentioned something about this like a week ago. I forget the match offhand, but it was a team picking to get a particular player into the lobby from the other team. And that's kind of what Ohio's doing here. They picked the Free Mod 3, and now they're picking DT3, and it's forcing Flasho into the lobby, and he's putting up very, very subpar scores compared to pretty much everybody else. Unfortunately, it's giving Ohio a pretty big advantage. It's 120K. As he trades with Topoi, wait a minute. All
gonna
right.
favor New York a lot.
Yeah.
And so New York are now gonna have a chance in this match if we see another miss hit of Wonderland or maybe one from Miryu. Takedo and Hanbei both need to hold because Flash Show cannot hold on to any combo, not build up any score, and so just puts so much pressure. Oh, that's such a big miss for Ohio, but Hanbei trades it right back, and it's going to be Wonderland versus Takedo now. 100,000 score advantage. They're going to need the miss hit of Wonderland pretty soon here.
It is the break from him. Takedo now, the carry of New York, can be the carry on this pick, and he can send them into the next round if he can pull this off. Can you imagine how harshly the nerves have got to be hitting him, knowing that he is putting up this kind of score, even without being able to see what's happening elsewhere in the lobby? He's got the FC, he's got 99 AC, and they have the lead.
There's just no combos left on Ohio. Even if Takedo misses there, they're going to need misses from the other two players as well, and all of a sudden, Flash Show's misses just don't matter.
No, he's... Oh my god, this Takedo score is incredible.
Is it ever? My god. Only 1/8 of the map left to go. Can Takedo closes it? It looks like yes, but Flash Show finds another miss. Not the miss Ohio needs. Okay. Everybody in Ohio is holding, but there's no miss out of Takedo, and that's the key. Area drops again, and it looks like that's going to be it. New York surely is just going to be taking this 6-3.
What a turn of events. Let's just see real quick here if Takedo can close this out, because that's, you know, just the cherry on top of this upset victory for New York that they're about to pull off, and he does it with 99.28%. Takedo sends Ohio home from USC 2022. They are eliminated from the tournament at the hands of New York squad that felt like a lot of people were writing them off coming into this match, but they just outperformed Ohio from top to bottom on several picks, and they advance onward. Takedo and the squad, the boys, pulling it off.
Yeah, and it was just such a great team performance out of New York. As much as we like to highlight Takedo, and obviously that last score was incredible, I think the key this match versus the last one is he did have those supporting combos from players like Hanbei, from players like Opixay to back him up on this one and carry him when he found those misses.
Wow. Yeah, that's just that's just such a good team performance. Like you said, it is a lot of Takedo, but it is a lot of his teammates as well. Karyo, Opixay, Hanbei, you know, Flasho was, he was probably their weaker performer on some of those maps, but he's still putting good enough scores that he was able to be carried, and that is a worthy skill in and of itself if it's what it takes for the team to advance onward.
It certainly is. New York now are going to be going on to face the winners of Carolina versus Texas, if you look at our bracket here. So they're going to have quite a tough matchup next week, or I guess that's going to be later this
That's actually,
next week, yeah.
I think that's actually like tomorrow. Depending,
okay.
I think it depends on who wins. It's kind of a weird situation because they rescheduled like both their potentials, but they're on different days depending on who wins in Carolina versus Texas. So we're kind of going to be waiting and seeing as far as when that match gets played.
Very interesting. Regardless, though, they're going to have a tough match ahead of themselves next week or this week as well. Ohio, unfortunately, going to be eliminated in losers quarterfinals here. Something I don't think anyone expected, but very well played to both teams. And thank you guys all for watching. I think our next match is tomorrow.
Nope.
Nope.
Our next match is right now.
Okay, great. I can read times.
Our next match is right now.
Fantastic.
We've got SoCal versus Georgia coming up basically now. So don't go anywhere. Stick around. All we have to do is update the stream title, and we'll be getting going with that one. I'm gonna check in on their lobby, and we're gonna see what's happening. So a very quick congratulations to New York and commiserations to Ohio. But that's gonna do it for that match, and then we go onward into our second match of the day. So we will be back in just a minute or two as we continue on for SoCal versus Georgia on the other side of this very, very brief break.
Oh, okay.